Hello, you're watching Tulipswift. Welcome back, ladies and gents, and non-ladies and gents. I hope you enjoy your stay, all like 3 of us who read the book I'm reviewing, which I already lost. Just kidding, it's right in front of me. Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. I read like 10 Goodreads reviews and everyone was saying like the same like 3 things about this book, and what really surprises me is some people really loved it and then some people like really hated it, and I guess I can like see that, but like I was just so surprised how split the reviews were. Who even? Oh my god. Okay, first I was like, it's not that pretty, but now I'm like, I don't know. So Penny starts the book with that she doesn't really like her mother. And I think that was a big turnoff for everyone, especially because she was like mad that her mother like sleeps around and like dresses like she wants to be young. And I see how people are like, oh, that's slut shaming and stuff, but I think that this was like Penny's deepest thoughts, and like she knew what she thought was like wrong. And I don't think she's like mad at like people who sleep around. She just like wanted a mom who was like more consistent and was more grown up traditionally. Yeah, I mean, it was harsh, you know, that's how she felt, and she wanted to get away from home. And but like it's not like she was like doing anything bad. She just like deep down like was pretty upset. Penny starts the book with a low-key boyfriend, and she's like, yeah, he's whatever, like I have a boyfriend and they've been together for a long time, and she's like, yeah, he's whatever. Honestly, that's very realistic. And like when she's interested in a new person, she has to break up with him. So normal. Like that's so normal. Like I really liked seeing that happening. And then when we meet Sam, I was like so into this book because I'm like, what? He has tattoos? Yes. He works at a coffee shop? Yes. He wants to be a director? He's a film student? Yes. I don't know. Sam seemed like very kind of like out of the box, but like specific enough to be like super hot. I don't know. I feel like a lot of time was spent that like he's so skinny, but like you can see his muscles. Like he's like slim. I felt like it was really mentioned a lot, like that he's like so skinny, and like I guess it had to do with that like he wasn't eating a lot because he's like really poor, but like that wasn't, it was just like I feel like it was just all like aesthetic, was that he was really skinny, and I just, what? I don't know. I don't think it was important. All right, was it? So Sam has like this like grown-up life because he's dealing with like real world problems. So this is something that I read in like almost every review because I thought I was the only one. All right, so they text back and forth, and I've never seen texting like this. It's kind of like a minimalist look because it's like centered on the right and the left depending on who's talking, and it's all italicized. Because I guess it's like annoying when it's like old Meg Cabot books and it's like Thursday 8:08 p.m. I love cats XOXO. Hey, see you later. People always make fun of that. They're like, kids don't text like that. Like, first of all, they used to. We used to, all right? Second of all, a lot of people don't like, especially when it's an audiobook, how you have to read like the screen names or just like the contact names back and forth. Like a lot of people really don't like that. And that's like old fashioned. And I've seen a lot of like salty tweets about like, kids don't talk like that, kids don't text like that. Like, yes, they do, okay? I'm sorry, all of us came from your family. Like, sometimes they do. But anyways, it was very like minimalist, and I feel like that was to avoid any like cringy, old-fashioned text, and it was kind of to make it more timeless or whatever. And I had no idea who was talking. Sometimes it would feel like, it felt like a whole page of back and forth. And I was like, I have no idea who's talking. I love that Sam has tattoos. I was like thinking about it, and I was like, how could we like never get tattoos in contemporary? Because in fantasy, there's always like significance to them, but those are just like random. This is the only like contemporary like tattoo scenario that I can think of. I read this in a Goodreads review, and I was like, felt so like seen, that somebody said that they didn't feel the chemistry, and I think that's so true. And the book opens and it's like these 2 hot people with like unique conflicts in their life and with their family, and I'm just like, whoa, sounds so cool. So they meet and you're like, oh my god. Immediately, like the emergency contact situation is when they kind of know each other through her roommate. Sam is having a panic attack, and so Penny like helps him, and then they exchange numbers and like, text me when you get home, like text me if you're okay. That whole situation ends, and then the next day Sam texts her good morning, and I felt like that was so random, and then the entire relationship just starts from that, and then they just text back and forth like, hey, how are you, how was your day? And then it was like, my mom never really loved me when I was young, and it's like, ugh, I'm in love with you. And I just didn't feel it happening. Like, I didn't feel chemistry. I didn't feel slow burn. Yeah, his mom did some like pretty unforgivable shit. Like, she like used his name, Sam's name, to like max out credit cards. Like, damn, like Sam like was living in the coffee shop that he worked at in a little like cot on the floor upstairs, and he was just working all day. He wanted to be a filmmaker, which was just like an uphill battle for him. Anyways, a lot of this book did feel like fangirl, and not in a way that it was like that much like fangirl. It is blurbed by Rainbow Rowell, so someone else had the thought, it wasn't just me. But so she's going into her first year of college. It's very fangirl. She is a creative writer, and she is in Penny, and Penny is taking like a writing class, and the her professor is like kind of mentoring her and like pushing her, and like her professor doesn't like everything she writes, and that felt like very Kath from Fangirl. A lot of people were saying like nothing happened in this book, like high-key there was no plot or whatever. I disagree with that. It was kind of like slow burn. I don't know, like it was like her like fitting in at college. Sam thought his ex-girlfriend was pregnant, and like it was just like them like being there for each other. They kind of both have to confront their mothers, but Penny more like confronts her past. That becomes a plot twist to the reader, because he didn't know that she was really holding anything back, because it sounds like she has everything, but there's really this darkness she won't even think about herself that makes her hate the things about her mother so much. How her mother acts, how her mother ignores her, is really all rooted in the incident where she was vulnerable to the tutor that was over at our house. So I reread the end part, and it doesn't seem like she talks to her mom about that, and it's like she's not ready to or whatever. And I don't know, I guess maybe that's okay, because she felt comfortable talking to Sam about it, and that was like pretty telling, and I thought that was like a safe place for her to open up to. All those like plot twists, or like Sam's gonna be a dad, like that was, they were all like pretty exciting. I especially liked when it was like really dramatic and they had to like save her mom. I don't know, and it was like all like she did, of course she cared about her mom, like of course she was looking out for her mom, like she like went all that way to see if she was okay. And I felt like that was part of the plot, was like all that stuff going on through like this text romance, and then like them being there for each other. By the end of the book, when there was no ending, and then I was like, yeah, nothing happened. Like literally nothing happened. I mean, I really don't like the books that like at the end of the book they start dating, just because I'm a thirsty hoe and I want them to like be together the whole time. So when it's like, oh, they're together, then it's like acknowledgements. I'm like, what the fuck was I reading this for? I think that's one of my biggest complaints with books like this. By the end, Penny has that conversation with her mom, and they really talk about like what's been going on, how they can rekindle the relationship. But I feel like fundamentally Penny kind of just doesn't like who her mom is. It was just like upsetting, because like at the end of like any YA, I just want to be like, oh, like I love my mom the whole time, like everything's perfect, like it's all back to normal. I think by the end she still just like wishes her mom was different. I don't know, I'm still kind of like on Penny's side in this whole thing. Like she doesn't like her mom, and that's like something that people struggle with for like their whole lives. Wrapping up, everyone really just like loved or hated this book. I felt like I went through both. When it started, I was like, oh my god, and then by the end, when they like start dating at the end and the chemistry didn't feel real along the way, I was like, no. The setup is really exciting. I mean, the setup had me so pumped, and I really thought I was gonna love it. So I gave it 4 stars because I liked Penny, I liked Sam, all the things that they deal with, from Penny's sexual assault to Sam's financial problems to his mom's alcoholism. I don't know, y'all, I am not picky with writing, and I feel like this was so like Dear Diary, I hate my life writing, that I was like, okay, whatever, just like do whatever you want. Like it was just so out there that I and it was like consistent throughout the story, that I really was fine with it. I thought it was very like creative and stuff, and I see why people would be like, ew, no. I'm like a few years off of the main character, and I thought like it was very realistic and authentic, and but I guess other people can disagree. But if you're like an older person and you're saying, oh, she doesn't sound like a young person, like I don't think you get to like point fingers. I think like a young person can say that the author wasn't being realistic, but like if you're older, I don't think you could really judge. Yeah, the writing was out there, but you know, it stood out. I think it really defined Penny from like page 1. Yeah, I guess this is a very indecisive review, but basically I liked where it was going. I didn't like where the book ended up. I didn't feel like I learned anything or gained anything by the end. I gave it 4 stars for being like kind of honest and going deep into like, oh, I'm Penny, I'm problematic, I don't like my mom, and I have all these flaws. And I thought that was really cool. But overall, it didn't really give me anything. It was a little bit relatable sometimes. It's really cute sometimes. Why does Sam have to be so skinny? Why was that like a weird fetish that some people had? That's really all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this book down below. I can't wait to see you on Friday, and we will be talking and looking at the new Taylor Swift album, question mark? Wow. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!